Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's 3 p.m. Sunday, September 8th. Okay. I want to talk about social psych explanation for homosexuals. We're tying in the Unabomber's Manifesto, Escape from Freedom, and a psych study. Okay. Psych study is on the psychogenesis of homosexuality by Gerard van den Aardweg, PhD, 2011. Okay. So I was on a walk this morning, and I started thinking. I was like, what's the reason for this uptick in gay people, right? Because they existed in history, right? Every gay person likes to say, well, there's farmers that were gay and stuff. Like, yeah, but not like today, okay? And everyone goes with the argument of, well, it's because it was less accepted. It was less accepted then. But it's like, that's just not the truth. That is just not the truth. It's environmental factors. Okay? There's no genetic basis. Everyone wants to say genetics, hormones. Nope. Doesn't exist. Look at studies. Look at the study that I just quoted. Okay? I'll probably link it in the bio if I remember. It doesn't exist. Okay? So these are my theories this morning. Pos reasons for up in gays. Okay. This was A. Shifting of boundaries. Men are more feminine, women are more masculine. Right? And we're not doing this disillusionment liberal shit. Well, is it gay if it's a feminine man and I'm a man? Yeah, you're still gay. Okay? But I think that you could just be straight and confused. Right? And this whole long spiral of thought came from this bisexual girl I was talking to my friend yesterday. And they're like, no, you're not a real bisexual. You just like, blah. And she's like, stop. I'm not going to hit my vape. All this stupid stuff. It's besides the point, okay? But when you think about most of the bisexuals that you know, it's like, let's say it's a masculine man, he's bisexual, which that doesn't really happen. And he dates feminine women and feminine men, okay? Or do you know how many bisexual girls there are? Okay, 95% of women under the age of 35, I'm not sure if this is the actual stat, but it's like 90 something, under 35 are attracted to the same gender. So it's worth looking into, okay? We do social psych, we do psych here, and mysticism and all that spiritual stuff, which explains the problem of sodomy. But that's a different video. I have a video on looking at homosexuality as a mental illness. Check it out. A bunch of people hated it. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this too. But you will not cancel me. I will not lose my job because I'm covering research. And that's what we do here, research. No hate. There's nothing wrong with being gay, guys. Okay. Besides the point. The other idea was power process. People feel a need to have an identity, right? As people lose their power, I need the permission from the government to cut down this tree. People lose their power in their day-to-day life. I have to go to Burger King every single day. Okay, everyone gets it? People lose their power, and they feel a need with their power process, right? Their need for power. They shift it. So your power process is no longer actual stuff. I can go and I could travel to XYZ tomorrow. I can go make a fire. I can go kill an animal and eat it, right? They lose real power and they shift it to social power, to psychic, weird identity power, right? So first off, let's talk about identity. Everyone has a need for identity. I'm stealing this from Escape from Freedom. The book goes to say that even man in the woods living there for 3 years, if he has a strong identity in his nation, in his tribe, in his group of people, he will be fine, right? The danger isn't actual isolation. The danger is sensation of isolation. AKA, if you identify with the group, you're fine. You're good, right? So, yeah, I'm American. I'm a Chicago guy, right? Identity. But if I don't feel an identity in that, then I'm going to look somewhere else, okay? It's just going to say that people need an identity. And this is why the self is important and the persona, right? You need an identity, and this is how school shooters happen, right? No identity, they lose it. They go off the rails. No group to identify with. Anyways, that's besides the point. So what I want to talk about is social psych reasons why this would be upped. Well, I'm just going to read this quote. Structured around this pivotal evidence from statistical as well as clinical research, homosexuality is explained here as a character neurosis. Characteristics of this neurotic character syndrome include personal immaturity, self-victimization, self-centeredness. Okay. I don't support what are those called? The camps that they put them in, the gay people to recover. Okay, but it is a psychic phenomenon, which we've covered in the other video. Right. Anyways, so a lot of this science, by the way, this is a quote from a lesbian activist in like 1995. We should be aware of this potentially pernicious intermingling of gay activism with science, which produces more propaganda than truth. Based. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is fake because people don't like to hear that, oh, well, you're like this because of circumstances. You're like this because X, Y, Z. They want to hear, it's your genetics. It's out of your control. It's your genetics. That's why you're depressed, right? That's all they want to hear, because then it's like, wow, I've done everything right. This is just random. There's no such thing as a coincidence. Okay. Every twin study is disproven. The whole genetic argument, by the way. I mean, like, there's a few ones that they did where they had some coincidences and it made it way higher, but then they did a billion other studies and found out, nope, not really a thing. No hormone factor at all, right? So we have to look at social. We have to look at the social psych. Okay. So, let's talk about deviant personalities and identity. Is it wrong to say people with deviant personalities are lacking in their identity? Right? So, this is actually encapsulated in a book referenced in here. Let me pull it up. In the book, where is the name of this? It's a novel by Morris West. Talks about this guy was born a twin, identical with his brother. He was born a Catholic, but the identity ended when he was born. His brother grew smart and strong, and the other was wan and sickly. I've never heard wan. Okay. His brother does sports, fishing, long rides in the dappled summer, while this guy clings to the shelter of the house, the safe harbor of the sewing room and library. Blah, blah, blah. Goes to say, the gay one rejects his given birth identity. Catholic, wealthy, right? Go be man, go hunt. And because of this, it's kind of implied that he seeks another identity, right? Everyone needs to fit in. Everyone needs to fit in. You need your tribe, right? Everything is tribalism. So people without the tribe go make their tribe. They go find their tribe. Right? And the same study, or the same research that I'm referencing, talks about a lot of the predictors, almost every predictor of being gay is not fitting in with other people around you. Okay? Not behaving in the way that your gender is expected to in your society. Okay? And not doing well with your same-sex parent. Does this make sense? Gender non-conforming interests and behaviors is what it says, actually. Showing cross-gender attitudes, right? It's a social phenomenon. It is a social phenomenon. As people, as men, are stripped further and further of their identity as a man, as they're stripped further and further of being masculine, they're going to be gay at a higher rate. And that's what we see today. That's what we see today. Okay? And it's the same thing with women. Now here's the thing, is that we've pulled men to be a reasonable amount more feminine. We've pulled women to be 10 times more masculine. Okay? And you can kind of see this. When you meet a poor girl versus a rich girl, you really can tell. But the thing is, there's not that many rich girls, right? So almost every poor girl is becoming masculine, and every rich girl is like, it's disproportionate is what I'm getting at, right? There's a lot more poor girls than rich girls. Anyways, every poor girl that you meet has had to step up and to fulfill a role. She's had to step up and say, I have to do this. And thus, she is tapped into masculinity, right? Especially because a lot of poor families don't have fathers. She stepped into masculinity, right? Well, what's the big poor group? I don't know if I can say this. What's the big poor group in America? Black people. Which group has the least fathers? Black people. Which group of women are most masculine? Black. Okay? Alright. Because, think about this. Okay? Try to understand them. You're born into a family without a father. So you have a single mom. Most poorer families have a lot of kids. You have to step up. You have to get a job as soon as possible. You have to be helping out with carrying things, cooking, right? You have to step up and take responsibility. Responsibility taking is a fairly masculine trait, right? The more masculine the man, the more responsibility he can take on, the more kids he can take care of, the more hours he can work. Right? The more feminine the man, he's going to be sitting around like, I'm bored, I just want to scroll. Right? So, women are pulled way, way further out, right? Because the difference is, women are forced to do more, and men are forced to do less. Does this make sense? Right? So, if I was 13 in the Middle Ages, I use this example all the time because it's such a good example. If I was 13 in the Middle Ages, I would know how to use a sword. I would probably know how to make a plethora of different items. I could survive alone in the woods for probably weeks on end. I have to travel alone. I have to figure everything out, right? Because, well, I'm a man now. I'm 13 years old, okay? I'm not a kid anymore. Mom doesn't need to hold my hand or feed me by the breast so I can go kill people in battle. Right? This is how men are supposed to develop, but instead we're like, well, do you need a mental health day? Do you need a mental health day? Don't get me wrong, guys. Don't get me wrong. You should be doing things for yourself, okay? But I think that we've just gone way too soft. Way too far. And I don't want to sound like one of those cringe guys, right? Like, oh, people are soft nowadays. But the truth is that almost every guy I meet can take on more. Almost every, including me. I could totally take on. This is why I wanted to move out when I was like 14, 15. Because I was like, what am I going to do here? Stay in fucking high school and just another day, right? No, I can take on actual things. Anyways, it feminizes you to take on less than you need to, right? Testosterone is like, we need to work. That's what testosterone does. So when you're not working, it's like you're getting feminized. Okay? And I'm sure every man can attribute to this, right? Like the time that you were most feminine, you were doing the least stuff. taking on the least responsibility, right? So when you don't have responsibility to take on, what does that do to your power process? Ego is earned through experience. How did you get an ego with your job, for example? When I worked at Mod Pizza, I didn't have an ego with my job until I had experience working there. Okay? Same thing with every other job I've ever had. At the start, no ego, right? Because you have no experience. As time goes on, you develop ego. So, what is ego though? Ego is the fueling of your power process. It means that you hate your power process. You're doing good with it. Right? Like, have you ever met a low ego man that does a lot? Does that happen? I mean, maybe if he has like some big neuroticism, he has some problems with his parents and stuff. But normally people that are egotistical are like, they work hard and stuff. Okay, you understand what I'm saying. Taking this note off. We're so cooked, bro. We're so cooked. Like, what is it going to be like when these people have to go to war? What's it going to be like? You guys are going to get shot at and go, stop. I can't be the only guy that's like, let me fight. Let me fight. Like, especially when I was in the big purposelessness stuff, when I was deep into that, which the whole purposelessness thing, guys, is a big thing with your identity and your power process. Like, when you feel purposelessness, go straight into investigating your identity and how you're doing with your power process, right? Power process, i.e., you're feeling that you could do what it is you want, and not what it is you want in the sense of like, well, I enjoy researching biology, right? Because that's a surrogate activity. I mean, what it is you actually want. What is you want, not what society made you want, right? And that's kind of some Freudian stuff, right? Freud is like, well, everything is because of your nature, right? But no, we do more like societal balance with it. Anyways, I'm getting off track. All of this stuff, all of these big things that are coming up. Well, I'm a part of this group, actually. It's a need for autonomy. It's literally just that you feel you need to be able to guide your own life, right? You feel like you can't do anything. And that's why you're like, well, I'm 10% Native American, and like we have a culture and stuff, and we do dancing, right? Like, this stuff doesn't exist. This stuff does not exist when you have to think about, what am I going to eat next? It doesn't. It doesn't exist when you're like, I might freeze to death right now, right? It doesn't exist when you're like, mom is sick. We have to care for her and go earn food, right? Okay. I hope that you guys understand this. Homosexuality is a societal issue. This is the manifestation of mass discontent. Okay? And it is the manifestation of the problems with gender roles. Right? I hope that you guys can all get this. Yeah. The most distinguishing items for characterizing non-gender conformity for pre-homosexual boys are the following: did not participate in baseball/soccer, avoided physical fights, afraid of physical injury, not daring. Thus, for pre-homosexual boys, the common denominator of these symptoms of unmanliness or unboyishness can be best described as non-combativeness, softness, feeling a weakling, and masculinity avoidance. For pre-lesbian girls, the situation is comparable. A degree of tomboyishness categorizes the majority of them. The core trait of gender nonconformity in pre-lesbian girls as in adult women is more adequately described as an underdeveloped femininity, deficient feminine softness, weakness, or a lack of feminine self-confidence, i.e., femininity avoidance rather than masculinity as such. Okay, but this is the thing, is that just like your hormones, your degree of masculinity and femininity, because everything is masculine and feminine, right? We talked about this in the Hermetic principles. I hope you get it. You have 100 points of testosterone or estrogen, right? If I go 80 estrogen and 20 testosterone, and then I up my testosterone, I'm not adding more points, right? I'm just going 80, 20 to whatever, 30, 70. Okay, you get it? It's the same thing with masculinity and femininity, right? You can't be like, oh, well, I'm neither, right? I'm not binary. That doesn't exist, okay? No, you're 100 points masculine or feminine in your qualities, right? In your moods, in the way that you think and speak. Okay? So it's going somewhere, right? So if you're not very feminine, then you're going to be very masculine. If you're not very masculine, then you're going to be very feminine. It's not that hard to get, right? Except here's the problem, is that we've overcomplicated this matter times 10 billion. And the main people overcomplicating this are people who aren't part of the group. I'm an ally. Okay, sorry. But that's what Keglinski talks about as well. Is that everything, almost everything, that people are like, oh, well, this isn't okay, is they're not part of the group, right? I just highlighted this. Whoa, wait. Okay, I don't agree that black people are ghetto dwellers, but paragraph 12. Those who are most sensitive about politically incorrect terminology are not the average black ghetto dweller, Asian immigrant, abused woman, or disabled person, but a minority of activists, many of whom do not even belong to any, quote, oppressed group, but come from privileged strata of society. And this stuff with, like, gender identity, take away the gender. It's just identity, right? This stuff with identity, all these problems with it, right? Like, oh, well, I'm pansexual, demisexual. I don't even know what this stuff means, to be honest. Yo, this is crazy, though. Paragraph 13. Many leftists have an intense identification with the problems of groups that have an image of being weak, women, defeated American Indians, repellent, homosexuals, or otherwise inferior. Right? So then you think, well, here's the thing, bro. Ready? I'm about to sum this up in the least politically correct way ever. The reason that so many gay people are white is because they need a minority group to join. And that's why they're all left, bro. That's why they're all on the left. Because it's like, when you're on the left, because I was on the left, trust me, when you're on the left, you feel a need to be a part of these oppressed groups that are being freed and stuff like that, right? Everyone wants that. Everyone wants to feel like the world is against them and stuff like that. Because what fun is it being on the side that's winning all the time, that you're like defending? Like, imagine being on the side of the government right now. They're doing everything right. Yes, COVID went so well. They're genius. Joe Biden is such a smart, intelligent person. That's totally real. Right? That's not very fun. That's not like a identity that you can really match with. Okay, everyone wants to be on the side of the oppressed. Everyone wants to be on the side of the minorities. Okay? You understand? Guys, again, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but you should seriously do psychoanalysis. You should seriously get into psychoanalysis and start to break down bits of your psyche, right? Start looking into your dreams, learn about your unconscious. What are you repressing that makes you like this, right? Because it's not genetic. Yeah, but that's why there's so many white people that are gay. Like, I've never heard a black person say that they're non-binary. I've never heard a Mexican person say that they're non-binary. I've never heard an Asian person say that they're... Have I? Nope. Right. As soon as you get into the left, you have to join a group. You have to join a group that's inferior. Okay? So whether it's a poor class that you're like, yeah, well, like, I struggle too, and... or it's the gay group, or you're like, well, I'm actually 2% black, so, like, what's up, guys? You know, like Kamala. What's she saying? Thank Thank the union members. Thank, you know what I'm talking about? She's like, I need to identify with these people because I'm Indian. Do you know what I'm talking about, bro? Where she does the black accent when she's talking. This is what I don't get. How does every Democratic nominee do like some really offensive shit to a minority group? How does this always happen? Right? It's like, who is it? If you don't vote Joe Biden, you're not black. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, sorry, I'm getting so off track. I'm like all over the place with this. I hope you understand what I'm saying. This is a disruption to societal. Oh, bro, in leftist circles, when I used to be in like high level intellectual leftist circles, everyone is gay, everyone is non-binary, and almost everyone's white. Like when you see a black person in a leftist circle, you're like, what the fuck? How did you get here? You know? And if you're thinking like, oh, well, actually there's a lot of black Democrats. It's like, well, that's not leftist. A, if you're a Democrat, you're a centrist. Same thing with if you're a Republican, you're a centrist. B, they don't agree with the social stuff, which high-level leftist circles are all about social, and they're not much about policy, right? So it's all like, we should dissolve boundaries about gender and stuff like this, and it's never like, oh, well, we should be implementing this and this and this, right? Because they're not in office. They're very far from office. Anyways, nothing wrong with being homosexual, again, as I've clarified like 5 times. Nothing wrong with it, right? I mean, there's something wrong with it in the sense that there's something wrong with when you have anxiety, right? Something's not right, and that's why you feel anxiety. Something is not going quite correctly. But not in the sense of like you should be burned at the stake or something, right? If you're a Christian, stop hating on gay people. What happened to love? Love is love, bro. Love is love. Yeah, that's it. We're going to see how bad this gets in 10 years when we're in the military police state and it's like everything is controlled, right? Because when the time comes that you can't drive a car on the road, you have to book a scheduled cab, you're in your 15-minute city, you will have total religious freedom. You will have total freedom to use whatever fucking sex toy you want. You'll have total freedom to have sex with people of the same gender. That doesn't matter, right? Because you're not interrupting the system. You're not interrupting the system. The further that the system messes with people's lives, the more that they feel a need for these like identities, stuff like this, right? So like, if I lived in the countryside, I wouldn't feel so strongly about, oh, well, I actually really like this M&M mug, and I'm like a member of the M&M club. Oh, wait, that's the wrong side. I'm a member of the M&M club, and I just love M&M so much, and I just love you guys, my fellow members at the M&M club, right? I don't feel that need, because my identity is rooted in nature and all this stuff, right? The further that we get from how we're supposed to live, the worse this stuff will get. Maybe I'll get canceled in the future. Who knows, right? If we get to the point where I get canceled, that's the point where it doesn't even matter to me if I get canceled, right? Because I'm leaving this country. That's it. That's it. And then I'm getting my wife in the third world. Maybe when I find the tradcath in the third world, I'm gonna find her, bro. It's gonna happen. This is so stupid. Okay, that video's over. Quick note. I want to talk about dating. Okay. Isn't it weird to you guys how people... Do you know what this is? Poor mentalization abilities. Isn't it weird to you guys how in the dating world, men will do to women what they think that they would want, and women will do to men what they think that they will want? AKA, when you're first talking to a girl, she'll try and make you jealous. Or like when she's like, I don't know if he likes me, she'll try and make you jealous. I'm with this guy. Oh, well, I'm gonna go out. Right? And then the man is like disgusted. I mean, I'm disgusted whenever that happens. I'm like, this is fucking weird. And whenever a guy starts dating a girl, he tries to show her, like, you have all my attention, blah, blah, blah. Because that's what they would want from a girl, right? Like, loyalty. The man wants loyalty at the start of the relationship from the girl, and the girl wants a little uncertainty. She needs the uncertainty. She needs to feel like, I don't know if I'm the only one, for at least to start, right? Because she has to see that you have like ability. She needs to see that you have numbers, right? But yeah, they always flip-flop it, and like they just assume that the other person wants what they want. Like whenever a girl tries to make a guy jealous, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And people just never pick up on this. They never pick up on it, right? And it's like so weird. You know, like the guy is immediately texting the girl back every time that she texts him at the start. Hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? Right. And the girl's being distant because like she likes when a guy is distant. You know what I'm saying? Like people just, they don't correlate stuff. Okay. I'm really hoping you guys could understand this video. Comment below. I know I should have cleared my head a bit more before I filmed this, but I feel like it was good enough to be understood and stuff like that. I kind of drew the information out a little too long. Like I could have done 10 minutes of pure information and that was it. But there's a lot of explanation. I feel like I repeated some concepts too. Whatever. Comment your thoughts below. Thank you. I'm going to do more live streams. Probably going to stream tonight because I won't be able to sleep until very late. And I'll just be bored. But we'll see. I have to piss so bad, bro.